Imagine your dreams are on the other side of a dark forest. All you have to do to achieve your dreams is walk through it. And yet, you don't. Why? Because you're scared of what's lurking in the forest. You're scared to take the risk, to take the leap. You're scared of what other people might think of you. You're terrified you might fail. But here's the truth. The only thing scarier than the monsters in that forest is looking back years later and realizing you never even tried. That regret will haunt you far more than any failure ever could. See, I first started this channel back in high school. I was terrified of what others might think of me, or if this whole YouTube thing was even worth my time. Fast forward to now, and I've completely changed. I haven't reached my goal with YouTube yet, but I'm far closer now than when I first started. So in this video, I'm going to use the game Darkwood as both an analogy and a source of examples. I'll break it down into 4 parts to help you actually kill your fear and chase your dreams in life. Of course, I have a bonus section at the end which covers what pretty much any successful person ever wished they did at the beginning. Part 1, Safety. Long story short, this Darkwood is a forest contaminated by some kind of disease that changes how the forest and people look. For some reason, the protagonist wandered into this forest for some kind of research task. The issue with the forest is that once you enter, you can't really leave. It's supposedly impossible. So the protagonist has no memories, is trapped in a forest with a bunch of monsters, and doesn't know how to escape. The protagonist has the dream or the goal of escaping the forest and remembering his lost memories. But the thing is, if he stayed in just the starting area of the game, he would never be able to achieve his goal. Sure, he could spend the rest of his life scavenging to survive. But then he's not really living, instead he's just surviving. And so, just like the protagonist in Darkwood, you have to ask yourself, do you want to keep living in this section of the forest for the rest of your life? Or do you want to make a change? After all, if nothing changes, then nothing changes. That means if you don't change something in the way you live your daily life, then you will continue to see the same results. So you have to decide if venturing into a more dangerous part of the forest is worth the risk. You have to decide to take the leap of faith, to leave the comfort of safety. That's why when I first decided to start making YouTube videos, I finished my first video that same week. I didn't spend time thinking or even excessively planning. I simply just tried doing it. But to do that, there's something you need to confront first. Part 2, Killing the Fear. Darkwood perfectly captures the fear of the unknown, unlike any piece of media I've ever seen before. See, the thing is, as the player you have no clue what's happening. You don't understand the plague at all, you have no idea who the mysterious NPCs are, and you barely know anything about the random doctor who kidnapped you at the beginning of the game. But it's not just the story of the world that creates this isolated feeling of floating in a void of uncertainty. Even the mechanics add to this. For example, the light. You can only see directly in front of you. Everything else is outside of your vision and unknown. There could be monsters coming up to attack you, but you just wouldn't know. But the part of the game that most drives this feeling of uncertainty is the day and night cycle. See, throughout the day you run around scavenging for resources, but at night, if you go outside, monsters will kill you. So every night you have to hide in your house. This isn't like Minecraft where you can just sleep through the night. You have to be awake the whole night. With the lights on and every window boarded up, you spend the night anxiously pacing back and forward through your house. Every little rustle and noise instantly puts you on alert. Randomly, a monster might break through the boarded window, which is pretty freaking scary. So as a whole, the night and day cycle, the light mechanic, and the lack of understanding for the lore of this world are all doing the same thing. They build uncertainty. And I think that's one of humanity's greatest fears. We hate not understanding or knowing things. That's why almost any research ever is conducted. It's why almost every child ever grew up with the fear of the dark. See, fear only exists in the vague. Something feels scary precisely because you don't fully understand it or know what's going to happen. If I understood every small, tiny detail about the game, it would become far less scary. Imagine if I had read through the game's code and knew exactly how each enemy and event was coded. Imagine if I knew every enemy in the game just by the sounds they made. Imagine if I knew exactly what happened in the story and how to escape the forest. Imagine if there was no visibility mechanic. the game would instantly become 10 times less scary. And it's the exact same for real life. Like, imagine reliving the last 10 years of your life. Some parts of your life might be confronting and scary, but you wouldn't be nearly as scared as when you first lived through it. That's because you know how each chapter of your life ends and what happens next. You know that eventually everything is okay. Of course, ironically, we live our lives moving forwards, and yet it often only makes sense looking backwards. We can't know with certainty that anything will work, but how you kill fear is by doing the thing. It's by facing the fear. It's about building up such a large stack of evidence that you become confident in your skills. Like in Darkwood, sure, the first time a monster randomly jumped into my house, I crapped my pants and panicked to the point where it killed me. But after confronting the monsters again and again, I've now built up this evidence that I can, in fact, kill them. I'm not as scared as before because I know what these small monsters are capable of, and it's not very much. So you have to confront the fear and just try. Build up proof of what you're doing will one day work. Even if that's just by spending 20 minutes a day building a skill you'll need in the future. A nice framework I use is do so much work it becomes unreasonable. When I decided to start making YouTube videos, I set the goal of making 100 videos, because I knew if I made 100 videos and improved something every single time, then it would become almost unreasonable for me to still suck. But of course, there's one thing that holds a lot of people back from confronting their fear. Or really, it might be where the fear initially stems from. Part 3: Judgment. Now, if you're anything like me when I first started YouTube, then you're probably scared of being judged by others. But I think it's important to remember that you'll fail a lot at first. And that's okay. No one will even see the failures. Like, think about it. A grand total of 7 people watched the first ever video I posted. And guess what? 5 of them were probably me. Think about the most successful people you know. You didn't hear about their failures at first. No, instead you heard about them once they became big. People don't see the failures, and if they do, it's a part of the journey to success. Now, you might still have this belief that the people around you will initially judge you for chasing your dreams. And you're completely right. A lot of them might, but if anything, that's a good thing. Because then you will know who is really your friend and who's just someone you spend time with. Honestly, what is the downside? Imagine being on your deathbed and realizing you never even tried to achieve your dreams. Imagine the only reason is because you were scared someone would be disappointed, that you would feel humiliated. But really, come on, humiliation is your downside? Someone being disappointed that you broke a rule that doesn't even exist? A lot of people might not take it very well if I told them I wanted to spend my life making videos online. But I think it's important to admit your goals and your dreams to people who are actually your friends, to people who support you. Imagine if when the protagonist talks to the other NPCs, he lies and says, "No, I don't want to get out of this forest." If he did that, then he would never be able to learn more about the forest and its secrets from them. When you think about it, at the end of the day, who is more likely to achieve their dreams? Someone who has support and intentional help from other people, providing feedback on their progress towards their goal, or someone trying to do it completely alone? The person who has the support, right? As long as the support is genuinely there to help push you, then it will further your progress and help you stay accountable. Not only that, but just saying what you want to achieve to others makes it far more realistic. After all, the saying goes, a goal not written down on paper is not a goal, but merely a thought. By sharing your goal with someone, it makes you feel more committed to actually achieving it. Now, if you don't have anyone who you can share your dream with, or you just can't work up the confidence, then check out my free community. It's basically a place where people come together who are interested in improving their lives. We all share advice and help hold each other accountable. There's a link in the description below if you want to join, but now back to the video. Part 4: Consequences. What are the actual consequences of pursuing your dream? For the protagonist in Darkwood, it's either A, he journeys deeper into the forest and discovers the truth about it, reclaims his lost memories and escapes. Or B, worst case scenario, he dies. But if he dies, it doesn't really matter. After all, he's dead. He won't care. So think about the consequences of pursuing your dream, especially if you're young, because if you are, then you have far more free time and less responsibility now than you will 10 years later. I'm not saying drop everything and bet your entire life on your dream, but at least spend your free time working on it, whether that's building a project or even just developing the skills you need to achieve your dream. Even if you fail at your first attempt of achieving your dream, then that's completely fine. You never have to start from scratch again, because you always get to keep the lessons you learned from the experience. Like in Darkwood, when I heard a dog barking, I decided to walk over to meet it. Big mistake. 2 seconds later, a pack of dogs jumped me and I died. Sure, I dropped a few items when I died, but it meant from then on, I knew going towards dogs was a no-go. It's literally the exact same for life. Imagine right now if everyone stopped watching my channel or I just quit. That doesn't mean my time making the channel is worthless, because I get to keep the skills I've developed and the lessons I've learned along the way. You only start from scratch once, and that's when you first start. There's a quote from Marcus Aurelius that I really like. What are you so afraid of losing in this world when nothing belongs to you? I think that just drives home the point that at the end of the day, you're going to die, and you don't get to keep anything. You don't really own anything in this world. Instead, it's just your turn with it. This is constantly shown in Darkwood as you're reminded that everyone in this forest eventually dies. Every single item and piece of loot you find in the game at one point belonged to someone else who is just like you, trying to survive in this forest. It's the same for life. Once you die, all of your money, your possessions, and everything you've ever made will just get passed on to someone else. So it's far better use of your time choosing to do something you want rather than doing what other people tell you to do. You might as well spend your time building things you enjoy and are worthwhile to pass on to others. But now for the last section. It's time to reveal the one thing that almost every successful person ever wished they did. Bonus, start now. If you look at any person ever who's achieved their dream or some kind of lofty goal, you'll notice a trend. All of these people have one thing in common. They wished they started earlier, and I wish it too. If I had started YouTube 2 years, 1 year, or even just 6 months earlier, then I would have learned so much more by now. I would be so much further ahead. So instead of thinking about starting your dream tomorrow, start it today. Now, this all being said, I haven't got my life completely figured out yet, and I haven't achieved my initial goal with YouTube. But that just means that right now, I'm currently taking actions, literally every day, to achieve the dream I currently want. I'm not going to lie, it's hard sometimes, and that's okay. I know if I just keep trying, eventually I will get there. I will always be immensely grateful for my younger self, because he actually took action and made this YouTube channel. Even if it did take me 9 months to get my first 10k subs, simply the act of trying makes me proud. So go start right now. I'm serious. If you have any kind of goal or dream, take action right now. Even if that's just you planning out your next work session, take action. If you don't, then this video will become pointless, and you will forever stay trapped in the starting area of Darkwood. You won't be living, but just surviving. If you don't have a dream, then that's completely okay. Don't listen to what other people want you to do, but instead be curious and spend your time creating and doing things you enjoy. Eventually, you'll find something that you like or something that you want to like. I guess finding your purpose would have to be a whole different video. Whatever. Take action, keep your sword sharp. Bye bye.